guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for hanging out with me today. If you missed my recent video, I went over my previous R Fantasy bingo for 2022, and I went over the bingo board as a whole, tried to smash in a few books to complete a bingo. You can check that out on my channel if you're interested in that reading vlog, but if not, welcome to R Fantasy Bingo 2023 TBR. I'm so excited about this one. So I really went into this one picking books off my shelf and picking books that I hadn't really heard of before. My camera battery is dying. So that was kind of the objective. I think I nailed it. I'm really excited to talk about some of these books. A lot of them I had never heard of, very few ratings, and the rest of them are popular and I just need to read them. So this is going to hopefully kick my butt into gear and get them read. And hopefully I won't procrastinate this entire year-long readathon TBR. Hello, welcome back. So if you haven't heard of the R Fantasy bingo that they do before, this is basically these... What are you doing? This is basically the fantasy subreddit over on reddit.com. Basically just... I wish you could see what's happening right now. Anywho, it's the fantasy subreddit that hosts a year-long, it's actually from April to March. That's the time frame that they chose. So from April 2023 to March 2024, this is going to be a year-long bingo to complete as many squares as you want and or can. And basically, that's the gist. I don't use Reddit a whole lot. Reddit does kind of scare me, I will be honest, but I do love this like Reddit fantasy book loving community. The book recommendations, I will of course leave the description in the description, the links to the bingo board, the rules, as well as the recommendations, which even if you don't want to participate, I highly recommend checking out any year's recommendation list, because it's very neat. It's very by prompt. They mention like the hard prompts and recommend things for that, but like it's incredible, the books that are recommended. Obviously there's going to be the ones that you've heard of before, the really popular ones, but there are so many under-recognized, non-hyped, low ratings on Goodreads type of books that I just think deserve some love. So I'm really excited to read some of them. Some of them sound so good. Some of them just sound like a fun, silly, good time. So here is the bingo board for 2023. Here's everything that they're... The prompts. I'm losing my English so fast. These are all of the prompts for 2023, and I'm gonna go over the books that I'm hoping to read, planning to get to. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully better than last year. So starting with the first prompt, the first square, which is title in the title, title within the title. The hard prompt for this, which I do try to strive for the best I can, is a non-royalty title. So like The Cruel Prince won't work for this because he's a prince. For this though, I did have a hard time at first. I was like, what the hell is a title? But then as I was seeing recommendations, I was like, oh yeah, any like a title, like The Teacher, The Alchemist, so many possibilities. But for this, I'm going with something off of my shelf, and I'm going to pick up The Bone Witch by Rin Chupeco. So sorry. This is the beautiful Fairy Loot editions, maybe a Luna Crate. I truly don't remember. I'm sorry. So pretty. I'm hoping to find an ebook or potentially an audiobook, because I'm always scared to ruin like special editions. But either way, I'm going to read this. I might read the physical copy too, just because the font is so big. It's beautiful. Yeah. Anyway, I am hoping to read this. I don't know what this is about. I remember it was very popular for a time when it got published, and then I hadn't really heard anything about the sequels, so we will see. The beast raged. It punctured the air with its spite, but the girl was fiercer. T is different from the other witches in her family. Her gift for necromancy makes her a bone witch. Oh, that makes so much sense now. Who are feared and ostracized in the kingdom. For theirs is a powerful elemental magic that can reach beyond the boundaries of the living and of the human. Great power comes with a great price, forcing T to leave her homeland to train under the guidance of an older, wiser bone witch. There, T puts in all of her energy into becoming an Asha, learning to control her elemental magic and those beasts who will submit by no other force. And T must be strong, stronger than she even believes possible, because war is brewing in the 8 kingdoms, war that will threaten the sovereignty of her homeland and threaten the very survival of those she loves. Lyrical and action-packed, this new fantasy series by acclaimed author Rin Chupeco will leave you breathless. Here is the map of the world. You're not going to be able to see because it's so bright. I do apologize, but that sounds so good. Oh my goodness. I think necromancy is a trope in fantasy I'm really hoping to get to this year. Just this later, you're gonna see another one really popular. You can probably already guess. But yeah, I'm just really enjoying the idea of necromancy. Who knows once I actually start reading it. The next prompt is superheroes, hard prompt being not Marvel or DC. Easy. I have 2 contenders right now, if you will. First one being the TJ Klune trilogy, I believe, which is The Extraordinaries or Marissa Meyer's Renegades trilogy series. I truly don't know how many books are in these. The Marissa Meyer ones are very, very popular, very well loved. I've heard great things. The TJ Klune has like a smaller niche audience, but that audience really loves it, so I'm really excited for both. I'll probably try and get to both the best that I can as soon as I can because they're both interesting to me. I'm not a big superhero girly, I will be honest, but we did just recently get, I'm not going to be able to find it of course, City of Nightmares, and I'm wondering if that's going to have like a superhero element to it or not, because it's related to Gotham, so we'll see. Not like canon related, just like compared to. The next prompt is bottom of your TBR, a book that's been on your TBR for a very long time. This is subject to interpretation. Whatever you think is going to be bottom of your TBR. It could be physically something you've owned for a super long time, or something that you put on your Goodreads long ago and just kind of forgot about, or just something that like you've been meaning to get to and it keeps getting pushed to the bottom of the TBR. For that, and there is no hard prompt because it's hard enough to read old TBR books. The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. Yeah, I just really want to read this. I really need to read this for my soul. I adore the musical. I adore the music in the movie with Gerard Butler so much. So I would love to read the source material that created so much, especially because I, the big little fan that I am, have a story concept brewing, and it does have a few like Phantom of the Opera tie-ins. This was like the original inspiration. It's come further from it now, but either way, I need to read it for research, but I also need to read it for my soul because I think I'm going to adore it just as much as the movies. How do I describe this? This is about a girl in an opera house, and she's haunted by the Phantom of the Opera, but haunted is subjective. He's really like there to like make her a good singer. That's it. There's nothing nefarious. It's like super cool. I just really need to read this. I'm so excited. It's one of my favorite movies and musicals of all time. So I'm just like ashamed that I haven't read this yet. This next one I'm uncertain about. The prompt is magical realism, and I don't remember what the hard prompt is, and I think this book might be magical realism, but it might not be. I'm not sure. You can tell me in the comments, but I picked 10,000 Doors of January by Alex E. Haro. I don't understand paperbacks that have deckled edges. I don't really get it. But either way, I have this copy. She's so cute. I thrifted her. I did try and pick this up many moons ago, when I first started getting back into reading and when I started this channel. And I was reading an ebook and I was super confused. So I put the ebook down and waited until I could get a physical copy to read and make sure it was like in the correct order. But all I know is that doors appear. As a ward of the wealthy Mr. Locke, January Scalar feels a little different from the artifacts that decorate his sprawling mansion, carefully maintained, largely ignored, and utterly out of place. But when she finds a strange book, one that tells her a tale of secret doors, of love, adventure, and danger, for the first time, January realizes she can escape her story and sneak into someone else's. It just sounds fantastic. I know there are a lot of booktubers that really love this book. I've read from Alex Ihara before, and I did enjoy their work, so I'm excited to finally pick this up. Is this magical realism or is it just fantasy? I don't really know. The Starless Sea was also a recommendation for magical realism, and I'm like, is that not fantasy? I don't understand the difference sometimes. My understanding is that magical realism is like light fantasy in contemporary stories, but I don't know. Either way, I'm excited to read this. And then for the last prompt in the first row, it is young adult. Hard prompt, published in the last 5 years. I've never seen a square so easy to cater to the masses before. It's fantastic. For this, I've gone with something new. I think this was released 2022. This is The Poison Season by Mara Rutherford. I had this on a like highly anticipated list. I didn't realize that it came out in 2022. I've seen the cover so many times that I thought it was like older. But I could not be more excited for this. This just gives me the vibes that I've been wanting to pick up more. Very much reminds me of Margaret Rogerson, author of An Enchantment of Ravens. I have Vespertine, which I still haven't read. But yeah, it kind of gives me those vibes and I'm really excited for it. So I really want to pick this up. She's short, she's cute, she's a special edition, so like, you know, I gotta read it at some point. Since there's no sprayed edges, I'm completely content reading this edition. It's a very weird thing that I have going on with me. I don't know what to do about it, but here we are. And then on to the next row. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. Let me pull it up. So this prompt is Mundane Jumps, a hard prompt, not set on Earth. I don't believe that this book is going to be fulfilling the hard prompt, but I am stupid excited for it. So for this I've chosen, oh no, I need the synopsis. For this I have chosen Baker Thief by Claudie Arsenault. This has 393 ratings on Goodreads. I'm so excited. Adele has one goal. Goodness. Adele has one goal. Catch the purple-haired thief who broke into her home and stole her exocore, thus proving herself to the new police team. Little does she know, her thief is also the local baker. Claire owns the croissant toy, but while her days are filled with pastries and customers, her nights are dedicated to stealing exocores. I don't know what an exocore is. I'm hoping this book will tell me. These new red gems are heralded as the energy of the future, but she knows the truth. When her twin disappears, Claire redoubles in her efforts to investigate. She keeps running into Adele, however, and whether or not she can save her sister might depend on their conflicted, unstable, and deepening relationship. Baker Thief is the first in a fantasy series meant to reframe romance tropes with non-romantic relationships and centering aromantic characters. Those who love enemies to lovers and superheroes should enjoy the story. Yeah, this speaks volumes. I'm very excited. I'm very excited to read diverse fantasy-like books with less, like, in-your-face romance. I do love fantasy romance. Do not get me wrong. If I'm going to have some fantasy, I would love some romance on the side. But I also want to see more diverse casts in my fantasy. I don't just want the same plot and characters over and over and over again. So I'm really excited to read this. I think it's going to be a blast and a half. And if you're interested, you can also pick it up. Alright, next, published in the 2000s. Anywhere from 2000 to 2000. Oh my goodness. anything published from 2000 to 2009, and the hard prompt is that it wasn't on like a specific Reddit list for 2023. So for that, I have picked The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. This is a little bit of a beat up, tattered copy. Oh my goodness, there's pictures! How exciting. I did not know that was there. This is going to be the first of many Neil Gaiman on this list. I would really love to read more Neil Gaiman. I have read Coraline. I have read Coraline. I think that's the only Neil Gaiman. And I love Coraline, so I would love to read more. I know that he is a hit or miss author. People either love him or hate him. I would like to know where I land. I'm very excited. There's so many things that I want to read that is Neil Gaiman, including the next book we're going to talk about. So yes, I'm very excited to pick this up. This is a children's book, so it shouldn't be too difficult, but at the same time, like, if I know Neil Gaiman, hopefully a little spooky-ooky. The next prompt is Angels and Demons, the hard prompt being that the protagonist is also an angel and or demon. For this, I am picking Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. Hard prompt check. I don't really know what this is about, but I've heard fantastic things. I believe it's got a movie or show adaptation out there as well, potentially. So, yes. I'm excited to read this. I have no clue what I'm getting into, but a lot of people have recommended it over and over and over again, and I've seen it so many times in the last like 4 years that I just need to do it. I just must. The next one, the prompt is 5 short stories. The hard prompt is if you read an entire anthology, and you bet your bosoms I did. For this prompt, I've decided to go with a very serious, very important anthology. Swashbuckling Cats by Rhonda Parrish. Let me read this to you. It's short. It's the 9 Lives on the 7 Seas. If you think cats and water don't mix, think again. Plunge into worlds of pirate cats on ships in space and beyond the veil. 14 tales of adventure-loving cats, puns, and fun featuring... Okay, there's a lot of names. I don't know any of these names. A bunch of authors are involved in this, and I'm stupid excited. There are so many anthologies that I would like to read. Like I mentioned, I think in my last video when I was talking about the Our Fantasy, because this is a reoccurring prompt, I was saying how I want to read more anthologies because I kind of stopped. This isn't really what I meant when I said that, but here we are. I'm going to be reading an anthology on cat pirates. Thank you. I'm stupid excited. This could be terrible. I don't know. But I'm really excited. It's got 76 Goodreads ratings, so it's going to be really good, obviously. The next prompt is horror, and the hard prompt is not Stephen King or H.P. Lovecraft. Easy. I've never read a Stephen King. So I have like a lot of options. The first book that I put down on here was Into the Drowning Deep by Mira Grant. This is on my 12 Friends Recommend 12 Books 2023 TBR. So I put that on here because I need to read it. But I try not to do that too much where I overlap my TBRs, just so I have a lot more to pick from and read. So I also chose Zombie Bake Off by Stephen Graham Jones because that just sounds like a fun kooky time. And I've been reading a lot of Stephen Graham Jones' backlist, so it just made sense. I don't know what it's about. Do not ask me. I genuinely have no clue. I'm not gonna find out either until I pick it up. So, the next the next prompt is self-published or indie published, hard, under 100 ratings. I don't believe that this is going to be fitting the 100 ratings hard prompt, but for this I picked Lochremore. I have a really hard time with that word. Lochremore by S.J. Costello. This was indie published, I believe, and the person that recommended it in the subreddit recommendation was the actual author, and it just sounded really good, so I was like, yes, please. Sivray Sen is a spiritual medium who lost her faith. Though it's been years since the epidemic that swept the mainland and changed her life, she has yet to find the answers or closure to what she's looking for. When she's summoned to conduct the funeral rites for a reclusive scholar. The unusual circumstances give her hope that maybe, finally, she'll find the answer she needs. Far from the mainland, on a small island in the middle of a lake, stands Lacrimore. Centuries old and breathed in grim legends, but something much darker than legends thrives within its walls, waiting to lay claim on the house's inhabitants. When Sevre rediscovers her place in the world, she'll need all of her newfound strength that digs her fingers into the monstrous foundations of Lacrimore and exposes the secrets it's built upon. I'm so sorry, that was a really bad reading. That's my bad. But this sounds really good. I know I've heard the term Lacrimora before. I don't know. I think there's like that, there's a legend there. I don't know what it is. I should look into it before I read this book. But I'm very excited for this. It sounds spooky ooky, and I'm just like trying to read more horror this year. That's really what I'm going for. So anytime that I can, I will, is the gist. So that's what I have chosen for the self-published prompt. And the next prompt is set in the Middle East. Hard prompt. The author is of the heritage. I'm gonna go with The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. This is the Fairy Loot edition. I don't remember what this is about, except for it's inspired by 1001 Nights. It's a gripping tale of a legendary smuggler, a cowardly prince, and a dangerous quest across the desert to find a magical lamp. So, very Aladdin vibes. I believe this is going to be a trilogy. Obviously, it's a new release, hence the special edition of it. I also have the Book of the Month edition. So I'm very excited for this. Eliza absolutely adored it. It became one of her favorite books that she read last year, so I kind of have to read it, you know. I am very excited though, nonetheless. I'm hoping to get to this sooner rather than later, while I'm still like hyped about it and like can remember what's going on and what it's about. But yes, this is on my TBR for this. I am excited, mostly because like Eliza loved it so much, and so I've heard great things. And then the next prompt is published in 2023. Hard prompt being a debut. I went with Spice Road by Maya Ibrahim. Ibrahim? Look at how freaking stunning of an edition this is. This is also Fairy Loot. Look at the character art. She's like too beautiful to be read, to be honest. But I'm really excited to get to this. I don't remember what it is about, except for it follows siblings. A sister who's like trying to help her spice dealing brother. Spice is like their version of drugs. And then of course I'm assuming along the way there's going to be some kind of romance, not with her brother, but just somebody. I'm very excited for this. I haven't heard a lot about it, to be honest. It came out in January. It was a Fairy Loot special edition, so I assume that more people would have picked it up when it came out, and then we would have like heard more about it, but that just like didn't happen. I haven't really seen anyone check this out. So if you've read it, let me know what you thought and if it was really good. I'm excited. I'm excited. Whoever controls the spice controls the kingdom itself. Like it sounds good. It sounds intriguing. It is a bit of a chunky book, but she's beautiful, so I can't be too upset. The next one is Multiverses. Hard prompt, no doors. So the Sean McGuire series, can't do it for the hard prompt. But I do know a lot of people are going to be reading that. I hope to read that soon. I really, really do. I need to just like set time, like a whole weekend, decide to just read them. Anyway, Multiverse. For this, I'm going with Blake Crouch. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to read Recursion or if I'm going to read Dark Matter, but either way, I'm going to read one of them. They were recommended a lot in the subreddit, so I was like, I need to pick those up. I might as well pick them up. I might as well give them a shot. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say. I know that Eliza really liked Recursion. I know that Blake Crouch's newest book, Upgrade, did not get as well received as his other previous books, so it'll definitely be between Recursion or Dark Matter. I love the cover for both of them. I know absolutely nothing about either of them, so once I get the courage to read sci-fi especially, then they'll be picked up. The next one is POC author, hard prompt being futuristic sci-fi. I have 2 picks for this. I haven't decided which I'm going with. Binti is the easy option because I have it through my library on Hoopla. I've known about it for quite some time. Their novellas, I think there's 3 in total. I'm not 100% sure. This is written by Nidhi Okorafor. I'm so sorry. Her name is Binti, and she's the first of the Himba people to be offered a place at Uzma University. The finest institute of a higher learning in the galaxy, but to accept the offer will mean giving up her place in her family to travel between the stars among strangers who do not share her ways or respect her customs. Knowledge comes at a cost, one that Binti is willing to pay, but her journey may not be easy. The world she seeks to enter has long warred with the Meduse, an alien race that has become the stuff of nightmares. The university has wronged the Meduse, and Binti's stellar travel will bring her within their deadly reach. If Binti hopes to survive the legacy of the war, not of her making, she will need both the gifts of her people and the wisdom enshrined within the university itself. But first, she has to make it there alive. Binti book 1, 2, and 3, and then... yeah, okay, so yeah, 3 books. It sounds good. It sounds like a good time. I'm definitely interested in it. The other book, though, that I had picked out, just like... maybe, sort of, is titled The Nine Fox Gambit by Yoon-Ha Lee. This is the first installment of the Nine Fox Gambit trilogy. Centers on disgraced Captain Kel's Sheris, who must recapture the formidable fortress of Scattered Needles in order to redeem herself in the front of the Hexarchate. To win an impossible war, Captain Kel must awaken an ancient weapon, and a despised traitor general, Captain Kel of the Hexarchate, oh, I don't like that word, is disgraced for using unconventional methods in a battle against heretics. Kel Command gives her opportunity to redeem herself by retaking the fortress of Scattered Needles, a star fortress that has recently been captured by heretics. Oh my god. This is why I don't read sci-fi, everybody. I just need you to know. Sheris' career isn't the only thing at stake. If the fortress falls, the Hexarchate... I need to quit. Itself might be next. Sheris' best hope is to ally with the undead tactician Shush Jadao. The good news is that Jadao has never lost a battle, and he may be the only one who can figure out how to successfully besiege the fortress. The bad news is that Jadao went mad in his first life and massacred 2 armies, one of them his own. As the siege wars on, Sheris must decide how far she can trust Jadao because she might be his next victim. I will be honest with you, I don't think I read the synopsis before I had like heard about the book and like picked it a little bit. Sounds a little bit much. I don't know how long it is. If it's long, I probably won't pick it up because I struggled with a lot of those words, as you saw. Dyslexia is super fun, but it's really hard reading sci-fi with like sci-fi words that you're like, I should know these, but I don't know them because it's not something I use in my daily language. Now I'm confused. So we'll see, but Binti will likely be picked just because I've had an interest in it. I've heard fantastic things. I'm more familiar with it. So yes. Book club or read along, the hard prompt being like currently happening. Technically I've checked this off. I read The Spite House by Johnny Compton for the Literally Dead book club. This is a haunted house spooky story. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was a good time. I haven't like talked about it a whole lot. It's one of those stories that like it's pretty short. You just kind of enjoy the story as it goes by and then you kind of just forget about it afterwards. But I had fun at the live show. I enjoyed the story. I gave it 4 stars. It was a good time overall. I like the characters a lot. I really enjoyed some of the twists because I was just sitting there like, huh? But other than that, it was a good time. So technically I've checked this off. If any other like spooky paranormal horror books are picked for Literally Dead book club, I could go with that. Or if I participate in like a fantasy book club at any point, then I can also go with that. It kind of just depends, but currently checked it off. Next is novella. I have Silver in the Wood or The Psalm of the Wild Build by Becky Chambers on here. Silver in the Wood, I always want to say Woods, it messes me up every time. Silver in the Wood is on my Aurelium TBR this month, so that'll be an easy check off for me if I want to. This is by Emily Tesh. There is a wild man who lives deep in the quiet of Green Hollow, and he listens to the wood. Tobias tethered the forest. He does not dwell on his past life, but he lives a perfectly unremarkable existence in his cottage, his cat, and his dryads. The Green Hollow Halls acquires a handsome, intensely curious new owner in Henry Silver. Everything changes. Old secrets, better left buried, are dug up, and Tobias is forced to reckon with his troubled past, both the green magic of the woods and the dark things that rest in his heart. I'm very excited. It's a novella. It's duology novellas, so Scribd has both of them together. I think the second one's like Drowning in the Something. So I'm going to be picking those up this month. I think it sounds good. G already read it, I believe, and she gave it 4 stars, so like I'm excited. Especially because like I think in total the audiobooks are like 5.5 hours together, so yeah, that'll be an easy one to check off. It'll feel good. I'm excited. Next prompt, Mystical Beasts. Hard prompt, not dragons or dragons alike, so I don't think such things like as griffins are counting for this. I don't remember. You'll have to look at the rules for the specifics. But for this, I went with All the Murmuring Bones by Angela Slater. But it says A.G. Slater or Angela Slater, so I'm not sure what she prefers or they prefer. But this is a very short synopsis, and I'm probably the most hesitant about picking this one up out of everything that I've chosen so far. It's got a 4.0 average rating on Goodreads, which is really good. I'm not sure. Okay, well, I'll read it to you. Long ago, Muir O'Malley's family prospered due to a deal struck with the mayor. Safety for their ships in return for a child in each generation. But for many years, the family has been unable to keep their side of the bargain and have fallen into decline. Mirren's grandmother is determined to restore their glory, even at the price of the Mirren's freedom. A spellbinding tale of dark family secrets, magic, and witches, and creatures of myth and the sea, of strong women and the men who seek to control them. I think that this could be very empowering. I think that this could be a good story with like a good message, but I'm just not sure overall how I'm going to feel about it, but I won't know until I pick it up. So that's what I went with. We will see, we will see. And then next I have Elemental Magic. Hard. It can't be of V.E. Schwab's Shade of Magic series. Fine by me. I truly don't even remember Elemental Magic in that. It's fine. For this, I went with something I hadn't heard of, and I'm really excited. I just read the synopsis before filming. It's Daughter of Izahar. So, from debut author Hadir Elsbai comes the first book in an incredible, powerful new duology, set wholly in a new world, but inspired by modern Egyptian history, about 2 young women, Nahal, a spoiled aristocrat used to getting what she wants, and Georgina, a poor bookshop worker used to having nothing, who find they have more in common, particularly in the struggle for the rights of women and their ability to fight for it with forbidden elemental magic. As a water weaver, Nahal can move and shape any water to her will, but she's limited by the lack of her formal education. She desires nothing more but to attend the newly opened Weaving Academy, take complete control of her powers, and pursue a glorious future on the battlefield with the first all-female military regime. But her family cannot afford to let her go. Crushed under her father's gambling debt, Nahal is forcibly married into a wealthy merchant family. Her new spouse, Nico, is indifferent and distant, and in love with another woman, a bookseller named Georgina. Georgina has her own secrets, however. She is an earth weaver with dangerously uncontrollable powers, and she has no money and no prospects. Her only solace comes from her activities with the Daughters of Izahar, a radical women's rights group, at the forefront of a movement with a simple goal: to attain recognition for women who have say in their own lives. They live very different lives and come come from very different means. Paul and Regina have more in common than they think. The cause and Nico brings them into each other's orbit, drawn in by the group's enigmatic leader. I don't like that word either. Malik Mado, and the urge to do what is right. But their powers may seem small in the broader context of their world, as tensions are rising with the neighboring nations that desire to an end to weaving and weavers. As Nahal and Regina fight their rights, the threat of war looms in the background, and the two women find themselves struggling to earn and keep a lasting freedom. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to read that. It just sounds incredible. It sounds empowering. It sounds badass. I'm stupid excited. I'm really hoping to get to this one as soon as I can get it onto a TBR for it to make sense. I'm so excited. Okay, and then finally the last one in this row. There we go. I've got KKE for Myths and Retellings, hard prompt not being Greek or Roman. I don't know what this is a myth or retelling of. I picked this up April of 2022-ish, and I have yet to pick it up. She's chunky. I really need to. I was born on the full moon under an auspicious constellation, the holiest of positions, much good it did me. I'm not going to read the synopsis. I really want to go into this one blind and just be absorbed into the story. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I've heard very few and far between reviews, but what I have heard seems pretty positive. So yes, I'm excited to get to this. I'm excited. That's all I have to say. There's nothing more. And then on the final row, so the first one is queer norm setting, which I love so much. At first I was going to pick Cute Mutants, but I'm not actually sure if it's queer norm setting or not. So for this hard prompt not being set in the future, I'm going with Gideon the Ninth by Tamslyn Muir. I'll just read you. Lesbian necromancers explore a haunted gothic palace in space. Skeletons. Yes. I don't know a whole lot more than that. I truly know that this is like lesbian necromancers in space. What more do you need? Gay space pirates. You're fine. I'm very excited about this. I've heard that the third book has cows. I don't know what that means, but that was like a thing recently. I'm very excited for this. I know this was on so many TBRs previously, and I just need to read it desperately. This is the fun little special edition that I'm very excited to get to. There's going to be, I believe, 2 more books. There's definitely 1 more coming out this year or next year. So I would like to get a cracking on the series and be caught up. But I'm also worried that I'm going to love it and then be sad when it's like I have to wait for the next book, you know? I also have these like pretty special editions, and now more books are coming out, so they're not going to match, and that bothers me so much. Okay. The next one is coastal setting, hard prompt if it is seafaring. I'm going with The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakabori. This is on my TBR currently. I will be reading this actually very soon. It's on my TBR for Aurelium as well. I really just wanted to check off some of these prompts as soon as I could. I'm excited. She's chunky. I've heard so things about this, more negative than positive. I have not read the Daevabad trilogy though, so I'm not going into this with any pretense of like what this author is about or anything of the sort, but I do know that this is following Amina al-Sarafi, and this is like her final heist, final adventure before retirement. And I also love this cover. So yes, that is that. Next, I'm completely unsure about this one. So the prompt is Druid, the hard part of it being like not the Druid, Iron Druid Chronicles, which I've never heard of before, but my concept of Druid is like D&D Druid, like you can turn into an animal and you have nature powers. And so I'm trying to find a book that has nature powers as like a prominent magic system, but it's not the person controls the nature, but like the nature is, I don't know how to explain it. I've picked The Poison Heart by Kaylin Bayron. I don't know. I think this is in a school setting. Strange magic blooms behind a prison gate. She's got a gift. With a single touch, she can grow plants from tiny seeds to rich blooms. That sounds pretty like nature magic heavy. I'm excited for this. We will see how it goes. If this doesn't fit the prompt, I'll figure something out, but I think it'll be fine because it is pretty like nature first. We will see though. I believe this is a duology? I believe it's a duology, but I'm not entirely certain about that. I believe so though. I've heard great things about this one. The sequel's cover is really pretty and I've heard good things about that. So yes, I'm excited to get to this. It is leaning more YA than like other things though, so we'll see where I land. We'll see. Who knows? Okay, final two. The next prompt is featuring robots. Hard prompt is if the robot is the protagonist. For this, I'm going with TJ Klune's newest book, which comes out July, I want to say, and it's In the Lives of Puppets. I did request the audiobook arc on NetGalley. I don't think I'm going to get approved for it. One, I'm still pretty like new to NetGalley. Two, I have like 5 outstanding things that I have not yet finished and reviewed, which lowers like your score, which lowers like your chances of getting things that you want. So I'm on like crunch time of like hoping to somehow cram these books into my TBR just so I can maybe get this audiobook. So that's where we're at there. This is a highly anticipated read for me. I'm really excited for it. I love TJ Klune. I'm still making my way through Under the Whispering Door because I'm just like not as hooked yet, but nonetheless, I'm really excited for this one. I have not read a book with robots, let alone in like TJ Klune style. Oh, I'm so interested. And final one is a sequel. Hard prompt being that it's the 3rd or later on in the series, and I'm gonna pick Lightbringer by Pierce Brown. This is the 6th book in the Red Rising saga. I'm really excited. I've already pre-ordered my copy from Barnes & Noble. I know, guys, I know, but I was already pre-ordering a special edition, and it was there, and it was on sale, and I was like, okay. So yeah, I have a hard copy edition of Lightbringer coming soon. I'm so excited. I don't know what it's gonna be about because I'm not caught up in the series. I have not finished all of the things yet, so eventually I'll do that before it comes out, hopefully, or very close to when it comes out. I've still got majority of Morning Star to get through, and then Dark Age and Iron Gold. So yeah, I'm sure I could do it though. It'll be totally fine. I still have what, 3 months to read them? I should really prioritize fitting those on a TBR soon. But hey, that's it. That's the entire TBR. That's all, what is it, 25 books plus? It's going to be great. I'm really excited for a lot of these. A lot of these have been on my TBR for a long time, and I really need to get to them. Some of them are just like fun, quirky new things that are new, and I'm just excited for like some new exciting books. I really want to find great books this year. I'm very intrigued in a lot of these. I'm also a little bit nervous. My only 1 star this year has been because of the R Fantasy bingo for 2022, so I'm nervous that's gonna happen again and there's gonna be like a major flop. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen, and it'll be fine. Everything will be great. These will all be like 4 or 5 stars. It's gonna be a great time, right? Anywho, that is going to be it for me for this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Subscribe down below if you want to see more from me. I will be doing a check-in halfway through the year to see where we're at and to get my butt into gear so that I don't have like a final month cram of everything, because that's just like not gonna work for me. So are you interested in any of these? Let me know in the comments. Are you participating? Do you have a TBR for this, or is this just like a weird niche thing that I'm doing? Let me know. But until then, I will see you in my next video. Have a nice day and goodbye.